On September 11th, there's an alignment taking place that will really help you take action and make decisions. This is because Mercury is going to be sextiling Mars. So Mercury is in the sign of Virgo, Mars is in Cancer. And so because these two signs are two signs apart, we can look at the value of being direct and assertive and all the things that I'm going to talk about in this video in regards to this aspect. I'm Everett Curdy, and I really want to walk you through the astrology for September 10th and 11th to discuss all the astrology. And then for each particular day, I did happen to pull an oracle card for each day from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to break down the astrology for each day, and then before I move on to the next day, I will reveal to you the oracle card that I received. So let's start on September 10th. What do we have going on? First of all, we have the moon in a trine with the north node. So the moon is in the sign of Sagittarius, north node is in Aries. So this can bring about enhanced emotions and psychic sensitivity. This can be your imagination is heightened at this time and you find sensory impressions. This is good for giving future trends and having intuitive insights, intuitive hunches, and going after them and acting upon what your intuition is telling you. It's good to discern and determine where your intuition has guided you to the right place and where has it led you astray. It's good to reevaluate and separate those things. A good question to ask yourself is, are you leading with your true self or your ego self? Are you leading with your intuition or your sense of your ego? You want to make sure that others resonate with you and you resonate with others. Nurturing yourself and others promotes collective growth. This is important to note. And so there can be suspicion and paranoia that can come about as downsides with this. This can also be channeling your creativity in ways that align with your life path. Moon rules emotional creativity. It rules um, the arts that involve the feelings, I feel like, because the moon is very feeling based. Anything feeling based comes back to the moon. And the moon is fascinating to learn and study. There's actually another branch of astrology called moonology, which specifically focuses on the moon. And I have 3 moonology oracle decks in my collection by Yasmin Boland. So this is important to note if you're projecting your emotions onto others without realizing it. It's good to take a look at that and really pay attention to when you're doing this. We're also going to see the moon is going to sextile Lilith in the sign of Libra. So the moon is in Sagittarius, Lilith is in Libra. So this can create an ease when it comes to expressing your emotional, intuitive side that you can find this time. This is great for letting out any deeply buried feelings. If you have feelings that are deeply buried in the pits of life, in the drunken, sunken demoralizations of life, this is great to pull them up to consciousness and to let them have a seat at the table and to really feel them on a deep level. Um, and so talking about them, communicating them, writing them in a journal, really releasing your deeply buried feelings and getting them out of your system and bringing them up to the light of consciousness. This is wonderful for trusting your intuition. This can create a passion for life, a love and a zest for life when it comes to lust. You may also feel more sensitive than usual at this time. It's important to pay attention to the mirroring motives or not so mirroring motives of other people. And mirroring motives is actually a card from the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reid. Examining your motives, examining your intentions, examining the whys and the hows of why you're doing action A or action B. It's good to examine this. And so it's important to be receptive and available to the guidance that your intuition gives you, to the insight guidance that your intuition gives you, to that your body gives you when it's saying, go in this direction, do this thing, say this thing, meet this person at a meeting, write that book up to mountaintops. You know, we really want to think about um just our intuition and how valuable that is. And so we can also have new visions for things. Our visions can be reawakened for things. The moon is also going to sextile Venus. So the moon is Sagittarius, Venus is in Libra. And so this is a loving and social harmonious energy. This is about connecting with friends and loved ones. This is also relating to connecting in emotionally nourishing ways with others in relationships. We may feel a sensitivity that is increased when it comes to other people. We may be more sensitive to what others say to us or what other people do to us or do for us. So we're more sensitive to that at this time. And we can generally have peace and harmony in our connections with others. Another aspect going on September 10th is that we have the moon coming into a square with Saturn. So this can create restrictions of feelings. This is what this is about. Not being able or allowed to feel your feelings. Not necessarily like when you sit with those feelings, you can't really feel and move through your feelings as effectively as you otherwise could. This makes it more difficult to express your feelings to a partner or family member. This also makes it harder to connect emotionally with others. This could also bring about past relationship troubles, and it can also bring about the emotions that come with the relationships, grief, guilt, sadness, betrayal, whatever it is, abandonment, codependency. It can bring about these negative emotions when it comes to, relationships in this way. Sadness and guilt are very prominent emotions now that we can feel regarding any area of our life. This is a time to take responsibility for your emotional reactions. There may be a culmination of unhealthy and codependent relationships, so that might be another possibility with this, where unhealthy and codependent relationships enter you suddenly realize I have been holding on to this unhealthy relationship for too long. It's time to just let it go, take off the band-aid, and and release it from my life. That's what this is about. It's about releasing these unhealthy relationships from your life. And so entertaining and socializing at this time is more of a chore. Doing the entertainment and leisure activities and communicating with others is more of hard work at this time. This is a time to go into reflection when it comes to our emotions, really deeply internalizing them, and having discipline when it comes to any area of life that involves a task that we need to reach, a goal that we need to meet at this time. So we may also feel depressed and overwhelmed and guilty. But it's important to know that if you happen to touch the side of the desk with your feet, know that if you would do that, you would know. And so if you're questioning it, there's a very, very good chance, there's a 100% chance that you didn't do it. So the card that I pulled for September 10th is trust. This is the card, trust. As you can see, hopefully you can see that. Hopefully the light's not. Actually, let me just turn the light off so that you can see the card without the glare on it. That's something that I forgot to do. So, trust. So I'm going to read from the guidebook a little bit, and these are some questions to consider and meditate on at this particular time. So these are some questions from the guidebook. It says, do you have issues with faith? Do you have expectations of betrayal? Do you trust the mystery? Do you insist on mapping each tiny detail of your life, believing yourself to be the center of the universe? This particular card, in and of itself, is about trusting your higher power. This is what this is about. Trusting your higher power. Having a deep relationship with the divine, with spirit, with God, deepening your relationship with that. It can be praying. It can be journaling to your higher power. Whatever it is that deepens your trust in your higher power, this is great to do at this time. It's also important to examine, to be careful who you place your trust in, to be discerning of who you place your trust in at this time. Whatever person, place, situation, is it worthy of your trust? Is it worthy of your time and energy and attention? The other thing here is to not forget that you are spirit in human form, that you incarnated as a soul to live the full human essence in the full human experience, and to live in this present time, at this present moment, in this present way. So to know yourself, to have a high sense of self-worth, to be wary of who you place your trust in. This is the key thing with this card. Now, moving on to September 11th. We have the first quarter moon in Sagittarius, and Sun in Virgo is squaring the moon in Sagittarius. So both Virgo and Sagittarius are mutable signs, mutable energies. And so mutable energy must keep going. There's a restlessness, there's a need to change, there's a need to adapt with mutable energy. They need to be going in multiple directions at different times. They need to have multiple things going on. It's very like, I'll go there, I'll go wherever the wind takes me sort of thing. They can't sit still. It's sort of a nervous energy, especially with Virgo in the mix here. And Sagittarius has ambitions to reach a goal, to really shoot its arrow into the sky and reach a goal. And so with Virgo in the mix to create this nervous, hypercritical, hyper-caffeinated sort of energy. This is about change and progress. This can also bring about enthusiasm and hope that we may have, and excitement that we may have, and positive thoughts and positive feelings when it comes to the work that we end up doing. This is what this is about. It's about having hope and enthusiasm in our work. There can also be a new and healthy flow of energy with how we take care of ourselves and organize our lives. So it's good to examine how we nurture ourselves and how we manage our lives in general. It's good to evaluate that. We may feel ambitious to conquer whatever we desire at this time. Virgo grounds Sagittarius energy in general. This is also great for expanding your mind and learning new things because it's Sagittarius energy. It's all about moving to new heights, moving to new adventures, moving to new places, moving into a new job, moving into new blind window shoppings. This is also great for any type of physical exercise because Sagittarius is very physical energy and Virgo is about the body, taking care of your physical body. So any kind of workout routine or yoga or walking or jog that you might do is very good at this time. We're also going to say that the moon on this particular day in the sign of Sagittarius will form an opposition with Jupiter and Gemini. So this creates generosity in general. We feel optimistic on an emotional level, like we feel a greater sense of hope. Whatever the situation is in our life, no matter how dire it is, we feel a sense of hope, a sense of faith, a sense of goodness, a sense of love for life, a sense of knowing that all is well in the end. All will be well. And we can move toward this at a great level. But this is a negative aspect, so it can create a lack of self-control that we may feel at this time. This is good for being open and honest about your feelings with others, having emotionally open and honest conversations with others regarding what you're feeling. You may feel relaxed and friendly at this time. It's also important to let your generous energy get the better of you for you not to take advantage of because you may feel like you want to help and you want to give and do all these things for people, but it's important to draw the lines in the sand and not let your open-heartedness get the better of you, and so where people can really use and probably abuse you. And so we need to be also aware of subconsciously falling into unhealthy and addictive habits and behaviors. This is something super important. And we need to be aware of our boundaries and because we're the only ones that can break our boundaries. Other people don't break our boundaries. We are the ones that break our boundaries. So set healthy boundaries at this time. This is about, this can lead to also overindulging in shopping or overindulging in consuming food or drinks, so moderation is required when it comes to these things. Mercury will sextile Mars. So Mercury is in Virgo, Mars is in Cancer. And so we have this aspect of Mercury and Mars. We have this window of opportunity between the thinking planet and the action planet. So this speeds up your mind. This is about you having the purpose and drive and initiative to start something and succeed at something and see it through to completion. You may have a lot of courage and fighting spirit to meet any goal. This is what this can also create, is just a greater sense of bravery and determination to reach any goal. It's important that we be direct and honest when it comes to going after our goals and when it comes to putting ourselves in a situation where people will help us to go after our goals. It's important to be direct. And being direct and honest is actually going to work for our benefit because it's a positive aspect. And when we are acting, when we assert ourselves in this way, then we can better reach our goals that we're looking to reach. We can also find that we have extra charisma and attractiveness in love and relationships. This is also great for diving into hard work that interests you, that requires your mental agility and focus, that requires you really, really putting your mind into something and dotting your I's, crossing your T's, logic, because Mercury is in Virgo. Um, and, doing what interests you on an intellectual level. You may feel more confident when it comes to relating to others. And so we also have a negative aspect between the moon and Sagittarius when it hits 29 degrees or 28 degrees, one of those degrees. It will square Neptune at the very tail end of Pisces. So this can create confusion and emotional insecurity. Maybe you don't see things correctly. Maybe you're deluding yourself or being deceived by enemies. You're not seeing things clearly for what they are at this time. You're seeing them with rose-colored glasses. You're seeing them as you fantasize, as you want them to see, not facing the reality of actually what is at face value. So it's important to avoid making decisions based on first impressions. You may also feel more emotionally sensitive at this time. Yet another reminder to draw healthy boundaries and not get taken advantage of because of your compassionate and empathetic energy that you may find that you have at this time. You need to, this is also about finding healthy ways to escape reality. Like films, drama, lights, cameras, action, film, photography, painting, sculpting, whatever method, playing video games, whatever method of escaping reality comes to you, this is the time to depart from your regular reality. So the card that I chose for this particular day is a very interesting one considering what I just talked about. It is burden. As you can see, it's burden. So this is good to examine the burdens that you carry. If you feel burdened by a relationship or by a project or by an obligation or by work that you need to do for school or work, or a journal that you have to write in, or a chart that you have to hang up, or a notebook that you have to fill in, whatever the burden that you carry has to be really looked at this time. It's good to examine and evaluate or reevaluate your responsibilities and commitments. Um, and so it's good to evaluate, are you clinging to unhealthy relationships out of fear? This is a big thing, out of fear of being alone, out of fear of being independent. Where there's unhealthy codependent relationships, that may be a burden. Maybe it's a grudge that you carry for somebody. That may be a burden. Maybe it's an old story of guilt. In my case, it's sampling videos without finishing them in order to determine whether I wanted to keep subscribed to the channel or not. For me, the burden is the regret of deleting YouTube channels and YouTube videos that I put a lot of work and time and effort in that was very, very valuable to me. For me, the old story is feeling like my foot touched the side of my desk. And I'm worried that it touched the side of my desk and that it touched my oracle card. So that's the burden, that's the story that I carry. So you have an opportunity here to write a new story. And one way of doing that is to not need to control others, to not need to be in charge of other people. Um, to let them walk their own path, to let them do their own thing, to let them live their own life, and not being in charge and controlling and trying to change people into the person that you want them to be. Because it's a very sort of selfish motive at the root core of it. You want to change people, and you're criticizing people, and you're judging them, you're trying to fix them, but they're not broken. Nobody's broken. You're just trying to create them into who you want them to be. So release that burden if that relates to you. And any unnecessary burdens, now's the time to release those things from your life. All right, everybody, that is your astrology and oracle reading for these couple of days. Let me know what you liked down in the comment section of this video about this video. And you can also subscribe if you really like this content. And you can also hit the notification bell so that you never miss any new uploads from me. Okay? Take care. Have a great and productive couple of days. Enjoy.